Hey guys, shalom and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tamar. We are super excited. We're expecting a fourth baby in the next few weeks. And I asked you for any questions that you have about pregnancy, birth in Israel, Jewish pregnancy. So now it's time to answer your questions. The first question we get asked a lot is, what is the gender of the baby? So if we knew the answer, we would probably share this with people, but we don't find out the gender. It's something that we think is super cool to have a surprise gender and not know. So when we go to medical checkups, we say to the doctor, we prefer not to know the gender, and then it's a surprise in the birth. Now, some people ask, does this have to do with the fact that you're religious, Orthodox Jews? No, it has nothing to do with that. We can ask the gender. There's no problem with finding out the gender. We just think that it's super fun and funny to have this as a surprise. With our daughter Yael, we were actually sure that it was a boy, and in the birth we had a huge surprise when we found out that it was a girl. I think most people prefer to know the gender, also maybe to prepare some clothes, but for us, we just think that it's so much fun to have it as a surprise. This time we have a feeling that it's a boy. We have one boy and two girls, but we really don't know. A lot of people also at work ask me, do I have any food cravings, or did I have any food cravings, which means like you feel like you have to have a specific food. My friend at work told me that her husband went out looking for some schnitzel at night for her. I don't feel like I had any food cravings. I mean, I like eating tapioca that I make at home, granola. I'll link below recipes that I have. I love those foods, so I've been eating that a lot. And also a few months ago, I really wanted to eat pickles, mozzarella balls, those cheese mozzarella balls I really wanted. I bought that a few times, but I don't know if it's really food craving or just food that I wanted, but those are some foods that I really enjoyed. Also, I really got it into my head that I want to eat my mother's cheesecake. It's like kind of like a New York cream cheese cheesecake. She made it for me a few times, but I didn't want to keep eating it because she does add sugar, and I was eating too much of it, so I stopped with the cheesecake. But that was something that I really enjoyed and I wanted to eat it. So again, I don't know if this is a food craving or just something that I wanted to eat. Is 4 kids considered a lot of kids, especially in Israel? So the funny thing is, at work, which is a mostly secular environment, 4 kids is considered a lot. And they say to me, wow, you're on your 4th kid, that's a lot. Because in Israel, seculars will generally have 2-3 kids. Religious Orthodox like me, modern Orthodox will generally have around 4, maybe 5. And ultra-Orthodox will on average have about 6-7. These numbers of course can change, but these are roughly the numbers. And a lot of times they say to me, wow, Tamar, 4 kids, and like I feel like it's a lot, but obviously if I lived in a town with everyone around me, you know, religious Zionists like myself, it wouldn't feel like a lot at all. And being honest, the number of kids you're going to have is also dependent on the people around you and your environment. If you have 2 kids and the norm around you is to have 3 kids on average, then you're going to be feeling like you should also have 3 kids. And sometimes this could be a little bit extreme cases. Like I was talking to a friend of mine at work that comes from an ultra-Orthodox background, and sometimes, you know, you have a lot of children, even if the family is really poor and the parents can't handle it and they don't have the mental and economical capacity. And also the opposite is true. Like if you do love kids and want to have a few more kids, but you know that people won't see it good, you can't not take what the society around you is doing, but try to always look at how much strength you and your spouse have, and try to look past what society accepts of you and just really do what feels right for you and your spouse. So the next question is, 4 kids, are we ready? How are we getting ready? And a lot of people ask about our apartment and if we're getting a bigger car and which model we're getting. So for now, like I said in the Israeli apartment tour, we're sticking to our 85-meter apartment. We like it. It's good for us for now. In terms of our car, now we have a 5-seater car. an I-10, which is considered really small even for 3 kids. People always ask us, how do we fit in 3 kids? And with 4 kids, we're gonna need at least have 6 seats for our family members. But for now, that too, we're not gonna upgrade. We're gonna stay with the 5 small car. Maybe in the future, we'll buy a bigger car that holds all of us. Probably we'd buy that car used, but we'll see. For now, my husband, if we need to travel somewhere, all of us, my husband could take my older son, they could go on the train or public transportation. People at work thought that that was so funny, thinking that my husband will be on the train. Everyone was laughing, like, why aren't we upgrading our car? But that is what we want to do for now, just to keep things as they are. And if we need, we'll get a new car. Next question someone asked is about Mikvah after childbirth. What is the waiting period before immersing in the mikveh after childbirth? So those who are not familiar, in Jewish tradition, after our menstrual cycle or after bleeding, after giving birth, after a waiting period, we immerse ourselves in water in the mikveh. So after giving birth to a boy, the minimum time required to wait upon giving birth to a boy is 7 days, and for a girl, 14 days. But because most women bleed for a month, some even up to 2 months after giving birth, so this minimum is not really relevant, because anyways you have to wait till you finish bleeding. So usually around 2 months time you can go to the mikveh and immerse yourselves, and this is around the time that you're going to your gynecologist to make sure everything is okay anyways, so it fits well with these dates. The next question is about giving birth in Israel. What is it like? So I had 3 amazing experiences in a hospital close by to my house, Ichilov in Tel Aviv. And in Israel, there's around 20 hospitals that women can choose from to give birth. Usually you'll choose a hospital that's close to your home, and you might go a little bit further for something specific, like if there's a hospital you know is much more leaning towards the natural and they're less likely to go to a C-section. Or for example, a friend of mine went a little bit further because she knew that that hospital offered to give birth in water, which is something that she wanted. What's really nice about the maternity wards in Israel is that they're kind of fighting over women giving birth, because the state offers them 15,000 shekels, which is about $4,000 for every birth that is delivered in their hospital. So they want to get as many women giving birth in their hospitals, so they offer women more things. And my hospital, for example, renovated and have a lot of private rooms for women that they could be by themselves, and they have even a bed for their spouse, and they make it very comfortable, and they try to offer everything they can to women and to allow you to have the exact birth experience you want. If it's natural, if it's not natural, whatever you choose, they really try to cater to you because they know that they're going to make that sum. Home birth, on the other hand, is not funded at all. It seems like they try to dissuade women from doing it, and very few women in Israel do it. So a lot of times they talk about how we can make it more organized, and yes, to give women giving birth at home a certain amount of money. It seems like they tried to dissuade it, and most people do choose to give birth at the hospital. And the last question is about pregnancy in Israel. What are the scans and checkups leading up to birth? So first of all the basic checkups and scans are completely free. They're funded by your public health care that you go to. I do have a few friends that chose to go to like either a private gynecologist who will walk them through the pregnancy, or yes, to go to some of these scans privately. I personally did everything through the public health care and was very impressed with the treatment that I got. Which checkups do you do in Israel? I looked up the list, and it's pretty standard to what is accepted in other countries. I'll link below all the basic tests that we do. First of all, we have a blood test that we do every few months to check our iron and to check all these different things. And we have a ultrasound scan around week 15 and a second ultrasound scan around week 22. These scans, make sure that all the organs are there and they're developing right. And we also have the sugar test to make sure that we don't have gestational diabetes. And we have a measles shot that we do around week 30. At week 30, we have something to make sure that the baby is growing right. Again, at week 36, we have an ultrasound to make sure that the amniotic fluid looks right and the baby is growing correctly. Everything is pretty standard, I think, except that we do, I think, more ultrasounds than an average Western country does, and also the amniocentesis test, which I made an entire video about that if that interests you, about amniocentesis in Israel, what the procedure is, and why people choose to do it here. But that is something that a lot of people choose to do more so than in other Western countries. Other than that, it's pretty standard with what's accepted in other countries. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'll try to answer them in the comments below. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next video. Shalom!